So, we're sometime into the new game cycle, and a question I'm getting a lot is, Gomer, who exactly do I throw so I don't give up 15 runs a game? That's a good question. To be honest with you, the best pitcher is none other than Mr. RNGesus. Praise him. Because pitching is difficult. Here's a challenge for you. I dare you to go load up into a ranked seasons game and keep a smile on your face the entire time while you pitch. Whether you use pinpoint, analog, meter, regardless, it is difficult, but we're going to be talking about who's going to give you the best chance at meeting Mr. RNGesus here today. So leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and let's get it going. So we're going to break this off into two tiers here, and most of these cards I've either used myself, still haven't sold, or I've at least faced them so I can attest to how good or bad they are. But let's start things off with Bob Gibson. I think this is probably the most common pitcher you'll see right now because he's free and he throws a sinker and he throws 104, damn it. So a lot of people use him. Good pitch mix, the sinker's big, and also the pitch differentials, the slider, it's like 13 miles per hour less than the four seam. If you get those mixed up well, it's going to be really good for you. Also has pretty good hit K and BB9 with maxed out stamina. That's big. Stamina feels like it depletes sooner this year. You can't go quite as long. A common plague that hits many men, but certainly pitchers in MLB 23 this year. Bob Gibson, one of the best of the bunch right there. So this is, of course, the best no matter the price tag. We'll go to you, Darvish, who I do think is better than usual, going for like 60K. BB9 at 111 is pretty damn good. BB9 and pitch velocity are typically the two constants determining how big your par is. So of course the par perfect accuracy region, you know, it'll show it right here. You want it to go somewhere in the middle, right? And the higher the BB9, the better the chance of that happening is, supposedly. But he's got cutter sinker combo, which is nice. Doesn't throw too hard, but gets up to like 96, 97 on the four-seamer. Also got a splitter. Just pretty good. No curveball like a typical Darvish card, but still pretty damn good. I think probably the best pitcher in the game right now, I would have to say, is Roki Sasaki. And yeah, the market is keying, baby. He's going for like 120. Deservingly so. He's 100 plus on hit K and BB9. Also pitch clutch. Remember, that is an important stat when runners are on base. It's pitching clutch versus batting clutch instead of the usual contact for the hitter versus hit per nine for the pitcher. I mean, he throws 103 on the four-seamer. He throws 99 on the sinker. Double outlier, not as bad this year because the four-seam does go a little bit faster. And then the cutter just happens to be 13 miles per hour less, so it just travels so much slower. Really, really good. He's got 99 break as well. Roki Sasaki's just fucking gross. They should take him out of the game. We got Pedro Martinez right here. Pedro, I'll say, is interesting because I know a lot of people are not big fans of this card, and I also know a lot of people probably won't take him. They'll take Chipper, or if they get up to a second one, they'll take Babe. But Pedro Martinez is good. He still has outlier on the four-seam, which is going to have him throwing 103. Good drop-off on the cutter, but not as big as a Roki Sasaki for that matter. No sinker, which is not a make or break, but certainly helps. Pedro kind of falls into that situation where the per nines are so good, the card can mitigate not being the best motion. I feel like Pedro's kind of readable, but still very, very good. I mean, he's got 113 K9 if you're bad with him. Could be a skill issue. We got Dustin May, the fiery red-headed ginger, one of my favorite pitchers in the game so far. The BB9 at 87, but for some reason, and this is something that I cannot figure out why, is we'll look at Walter Johnson, two hard-throwing right-handed pitchers with sinkers. Walter Johnson has a bigger par than Dustin May, despite having like plus 15, plus 20 BB9. Make it make sense, damn it. He's got a great mix, throws super hard, outlier on the sinker, which makes him really effective, and has a cutter as well. He is gross, you know that for sure. And then we'll talk about Ohtani here. I don't think he's like tremendous pitching-wise. He has a cutter, and he has the outlier on the four-seam, but no sinker and and I feel like he is just quite readable. Biggest thing is outlier. You get good per nines, but of course, he's two-way, so you can use him hitting and pitching in ranked seasons. You just can't use him as a two-way in Battle Royale, for example. But Ohtani, with that ability, makes him, top tier, but certainly pretty damn expensive. Kind of super speed through Walter Johnson. This is like a tier down, not quite as good, but still goes for a fat chunk of change, not necessarily clearance rack. It's not like the $5 DVD bin at Walmart. Throws hard, but again, his par is weirdly big, very hard to throw strikes. Something that's even more infuriating too is for some reason they put Mr. Magoo behind the dish, gave him a umpire's mask, and told him to call balls and strikes. I swear, like, so often you'll throw it right on the black, and it's just ball. It's like 60-70% engulfed into the strike zone, but they're like, no, not a strike. I didn't see it. Grayson's good. Also, Don Sutton, a new one too. Does not throw hard, which some people do not like soft tossers. I feel like hitting is just generally easier this year because pitching is so difficult. So that's something to keep in mind. I find the velocity really helps me be more effective, and especially towards not as good players on the lower ranks. Velocity is key. Outliers going to carry you a lot further there. Talking about Pablo Lopez here from my Twins, he's pretty good, Again, not going to throw too hard. 94 on the four seam and sinker, 90s to 100 on hit K and BB. Pitch clutch is kind of low, 87 at base value, but he's solid, and he's free. You really can't go wrong. Then Luis Castillo as well, 90 plus on hit K and BB, 100 plus clutch, good. He's got the outlier on the sinker, not on the four seam, four pitch guy with not a ton of pitch speed differential. He is okay. He's a solid option for sure. Let's move on to relief pitchers, right-handed relief pitchers specifically. We're looking at the top ones. Let's talk about Eric Gagne. Eric Gag Me. When I have to face this card, he's tough. He's got the outlier, drops an ephus with the curveball, 70, like 50 miles per hour. It's really fucking gross on Hall of Fame and Legend. Great mix. He's got max K9, 120 hit 9. He's disgusting, and he's not even that expensive. He's going for like $35K right now. Not bad at all. We're looking at the Trevor Hoffman with the boost, of course, too. If you use relief pitchers, not closing pitchers, they'll get plus 15 hit 9 and plus 15K per 9, two of the biggest boosts out there, which also brings him up. The BB9 is still a little bit lower. He's one of those soft tossers, but I think it's good when you face those hell matches in ranked that go to like using up the whole bullpen, 15 runs per side. You need different pitchers, and Hoffman is what is going to change the pace. You don't want to keep the same sort of style out there constantly. So I think Hoffman is a good guy to have in there too, even if you don't use the boost. Mariano Rivera, of course, for the Yankees, very good. He does not have a changeup, which kind of makes him not as good as he usually would be. He's fastballs and slider, but he does have the sinker cutter combo, kind of like a Blake Trinan type. Also has got the high BB9 there as well. If you do use the Yankee Live Series captain boost, he's going to be even better, obviously. But we got Lee Smith, no sinker, but he's got pretty good differential. You see, he has the 99 to 100 on the four seam, the cutter, and then the forkball really is a great pitch. You really notice the maxed out BB9 with Lee Smith. That forkball upper in the strike zone really like that option for you. Then you got D-Well. Devin Williams, not quite as good, does not have the circle changeup, but he's solid. He's got max hit in K9. He could do well. It really depends who you face, and it really depends how you use him because it's kind of hit or miss. The screwball par is fucking huge, though. It is my 600-pound life big. Okay, let's move on to the lefty relievers here. We're finally getting a couple good ones, I would say. Again, lefties, I think you should have 3 in your bullpen. You should have 5 righties, 3 lefties. That's the split that I would work on right there. I think the best one's probably Billy Wagner. He's got great hit and K, 83 BB9, outlier on the four seam. yes. Slider, curveball, changeup with good pitch differentials, and he's notoriously been tough to hit. Max pitch clutch, he's good, but obviously he's expensive as all fuck, because you need Trout, you need Ohtani, you need all the Astros. There's a lot of stubs to go into Billy Wagner right there. We're looking at Josh Hader. Again, Josh Hader, the pitch mix is not good. Two-seam, slider, circle, changeup. He does have outlier on the two-seam, so it's going to brush 100. But he's got max hit and K and 112 pitch clutch. It really helps out. And in a thin position, yeah, we'll say he's like top end, but he is pretty expensive at 55K. Moving on to Greg Soto. He's free and he's really, really good. I've been loving this card so far. Max hit 9, 114K. The BB9, the changeup, the par. It is damn near impossible. You could be on your first pitch, it could hit him, or it could go down the middle. It's a really big variance. Throw at your own risk, my suggestion. Make sure it's far out of the strike zone. That's kind of what I would say for Greg Soto. Andrew Shafeen, he's got a similar pitch mix to Greg. Not as good for nines, doesn't throw as hard either. Greg Soto has the outlier, but he's more balanced. He's got better BB9. He's got 109 pitch clutch, which is pretty good. Shafeen I can recommend. We'll also talk about Tyler Matzik here. Kind of a shocker yesterday. Didn't really think we'd ever see like a charisma Tyler Matzik, but it's super cool. And he's got a decent pitch mix, a good differential, 7 to 8 on the four-seam to cutter. No changeup, which again, I really, really do like that pitch. It's a bit of a crutch if you don't have a good mix of speeds that's easier to locate than a slider or more specifically a curveball. You really want to throw that at your own risk. Curveballs, I recommend just make sure it's down in the zone, as far down as you can. It's supposed to be make them swing. That's the best way to use like a Gagne curveball too. But he's got max hit K and BB with 83 BB9. He can't be that bad. He's certainly pretty solid. Honorable mention, Sean Doolittle right here. He does not have a good pitch mix, but for some reason I always do well with the guys. So hey, welcome back, Sean Doolittle. Sean does a lot actually, but going for like 25K, probably a couple better options right there. Okay, super speed through some other honorable starters that are cheaper or not quite as good. Mr. Satchel Paige, the per-9s are not great unless you do the Buck O'Neil captain boost, which really gets him up there. Weird thing with Satchel is the long windup can actually fuck up your opponent sometimes, but his pars are enormous. I've never seen somebody be so inaccurate. Last year, Aroldis Chapman looks like a dominant strike thrower compared to Satchel Paige. It's crazy, man. We've got the Joe Musgrove captain boost for the tops now. Pretty good. Honestly, not bad at all. He's got the pitches, the sinker cutter combo that you look for, and the hit 9 gets pretty high. I think like 115, nearly 120, which is big. You know, the lower the PCI, the better for a lot of people. Looking at the Nolan Ryan captain boost, not bad. The boost plus 10 hit plus 15K if you use pitchers 35 or older. There's not like a ton of great options there, but he throws super hard. Nolan Ryan has always got like, he's my Achilles heel. I just don't hit the guy well, and I can't stand when I see my opponents loading up with him in their lineup. Marcus Stroman, I mean, you know what? Say what you want about the guy on his Twitter personality, but damn it, he's pretty good. He's always been a nice budget option. He's going to throw strikes for you, but also could get pelted. He's not quite Adam Wainwright velocity, but he's not that far off, if you know what I mean. A couple other ones we'll talk about. Johnny Cueto. I really don't like this guy too much. He's decent. I don't know. I guess he gets the Nolan Ryan boost, if you care for that. But he just throws so soft. 87 mile an hour cutter is insane, man. Oh my god, it really feels like batting practice sometimes for my opponents. That being said, he's usable. Then Brandon Webb. I hear some of my friends really hype him up. He doesn't throw hard, not quite as soft as Cueto, but he throws strikes. He's got 116 BB9, and he's got a pretty decent motion, so try him out. He's only like 30K, so it's worth a shot. Okay, lightning round, and then we'll get done with this. Right-handed relievers. There's a lot of decent ones. Couple captain boosts boost that you could recommend there as well. We'll start off with Braden Bristow, sinker cutter combo, just soft tosser, but pretty good hit and K. Daniel Bard, always like this card. He's got outlier on the sinker. 4-pitch mix with pretty much maxed out hit per 9. Tough to go wrong there. Commutable, I know some people really like him. I personally think he is laughably easy to hit. But you know, obviously there's some reason that people like him. So try him out if you have not yet. We're looking at Joe Kelly. He looks pretty good. He's got good hit 9. We've used him a little bit. He throws hard. He's got the sinker. Got a sinker. You're probably going to be at least usable, I would say. Michael King, he's also got that sinker. He gets boosted by Trevor Hoffman. Same thing as Johnny Lozane here for the Yankees. Tough thing, everybody and their mothers use this card at this point. He's got 460 green parallels, so it's fair to say people know how to hit the guy. Rob Dibble, always going to be good. The pitch differential from the outlier 4-seam to the cutter is always pretty tilting, I would say. A couple other ones. Shohei Ohtani, this relief card, not bad at all. We're looking at Felix Bautista. Just kind of wanted to mention him as well because he should be getting a PUTM card or a big boost. This guy is really hard to hit. He's got a fucky, not a funky. He's got a wacky windup, which is really tough to hit. So just be prepared for when he gets a top-end card. And then finally, Taylor Rogers, decent little left-handed reliever that you could go with. Max hit 9. He's got the sinker. He's like a lefty, softer tossing Dellin Betances, I guess I would say, but no cutter. So he's not really like Dellin Betances at all, the more I think about it. We got Jose Alvarado, another guy who's probably going to get a PUTM card or a good card in general. He's always my guy in BR, especially when he was a silver. Great pitch mix with the sinker cutter combo, throws hard. And then finally, we'll end things off with Brooks Raley right here. Perfect mix, sinker cutter combo, doesn't throw hard, but he gets the Hoffman boost if that's good enough for you. So, yeah, a lot of pitches we talked about. If you guys are struggling, that's the direction I would go. We talked about some top end, no matter the cost. It's pretty cheap to fund pitching. You don't have to go out and get Roki. You can make do with like a Bob Gibson. You know, Dustin May's free. If you wanted to go out and get Pedro Martinez, you can definitely make it work. So let me know who you guys are running in your rotation in the bullpen right now. And if you guys enjoyed this one, leave a like down below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a great one.